besties and lovers, welcome back to my channel. So on this channel today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this elegant ladies outfit. This outfit you can wear it to church, to market, to office, wherever you want to go to. So this is me trying to fold my fabric. I used 2 years of fabric for this outfit, but if you are way bigger you can increase to 3 years or so. So this is me. I've just done the folding. I folded it without a zipper allowance. The other edge is I'm going to be taking my measurement from where there is no opening, where there is no joining, there is nothing. So what I'm doing here is I'm using 25 for the half measurement. That is from my shoulder to my hips. From my shoulder to my hips is 25. So that is what I am marking out like this. So here I'm trying to measure out my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 14. So 14 I'm going to divide into 2. I have 7.5. When I divide 14 into 2, I have 7.5, and I'll be adding extra half inches for joining, making it 8 inches. So this is 8 inches for the shoulder, and from there I am going to take my armhole measurement. I'm using 7 for the armhole measurement because under it, the underline there, I'll be using 3 inches for the under. So I'm going to connect with my French curve. I'll make sure I connect it very well with my French curve. Remember, the straight line is 7 inches, then the line under is 3 inches, making it 10, which is an adult armhole. So I just marked in between the 7 and the 3. I took the half of the 7 because I want to measure my chest line. I want the chest line to look very good. So I'm going to be curving from here. So this is the 3 inches I was talking about. Now I'm going to connect, as you can see, 4 and half an inch. I'm going to minus half an inch for my chest line. Half an inch for my chest line to make the chest line look very good. I'm going to take it inside by that half an inch and then connect with my French curve, just like I am doing. So I'm trying to mark it very well to make it obvious, so when I'm cutting it I won't make any mistake. So from here I'm going to be measuring from my shoulder to my waistline, which is 16 inches. From shoulder to waistline for an adult is 16 inches. So I'm just going to measure from the shoulder to the waistline. So this is me taking the waist circumference. This is the waist circumference. I have there is 6.5. Please, the reason why I have 6.5 inches for the waist measurement is because I folded my measurement into 4. And after the 6.5 inches, I'm going to add extra 2, which is what I've just done. I added extra 2 allowance. Since the cloth is just free, it doesn't have, I don't want any measurement. If you find out, you know that I didn't measure any bust. I didn't take bust measurement because I wanted it to be free. So I only needed it to have shape at the waist a little bit. So from the waist, I am going to take it down to the hips line where I measured before. Since I have already added extra 2 to the waist, I don't need any other addition at the hips. That 2 inches I added to the waist is enough for the hip as well. So I just took the measurement. Is the only measurement I took is for the waist because I wanted the outfit to be free. I wanted it to be free on me. So that is why I didn't take any other measurement. So I'm doing the cutting. Is very simple and is beginners friendly. Taking the I'm cutting out my measurements. So once I was done cutting out my measurement, I removed the excess, the place I don't need, because I didn't take my measurement direct from the beginning. I removed the rough edge. So here now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to measure out my neckline. So for the neckline, I used 3 inches for the wideness because I wanted it to just be round, and I also used 3 inches for the depth as well. I used 3 inches for the wideness, 3 inches for the wideness, and I'll go back with my tape and measure 3 inches for the depth. I'm sorry you are not seeing it. I took 3 inches for the depth as well. I just want it to be round. So I'm going to be connecting the two lines with my French curve. It's very easy. This French curve makes your works very easy. So I'll just connect with my French curve and cut out. So once I was done doing that, I'll come down by half an inch. I didn't know that you are not going to be seeing this. So I just came down by half an inch. I'm going to connect it from the neckline. That is called my shoulder slope. So I'll just cut it out. I believe everyone knows how to do that. So once I was done cutting it out, look at it looking all pretty, even when I've not made the outfit. So I'll take the back side and cut it the way I want as well. I'm going to cut the neckline. So I'm trying to arrange it to make it equal, because if they are not equal, you have started making mistakes. That is my shoulder slope, half an inch. I've already removed it. So here I'm coming out by 3. I wanted to be sure so that the two necks will be equal. So I'm using the same 3 inches. I'm using the same 3 inches, but coming down I won't use 3 inches again because I don't want it to be the same side. So coming down I'll be using 2 inches. I used 2 inches for the depth. So I'm going to connect the two lines now and then cut out my shoulder slope as well. That's the shoulder slope, the half inch I removed. So I've cut it out. Now I'm going to tear the back a little bit because I want it to have small tearing. That is where my neck will be passing from whenever I'm putting on the clothes, or if you are the one wearing it. Since it doesn't have a zipper allowance, you should always tear it so that if you want to wear it, you can open it, and after wearing it, you can buckle it back again. So I use 3 inches for that. But if you like, you can make your own 4 inches. I just want mine to be this small. So as you can see, the outfit is already looking all nice. So here I'm cutting out another folding 4. Look at it, folding 4 without joining at the other side. And remember, I'm always taking my measurement where there is no joining. So what I'm trying to cut out is the hand. So instead of the regular 2 at the top, normally whenever I'm measuring a normal slit, at the top from where my side is, I will take 2 inches. But this one I use 3 inches. I use 3 inches for this side where my hand is now. As you can see, the curving is big, like it's not like the regular one. Please take note. Then for this place now, I also added hand because I wanted it to be big, so I can pleat it a little bit. So that is why I didn't use the normal size. I added hand so that I will be able to pleat the top small and also the slit small. I'm going to be putting elastic at the ending part, so I don't really need a big, it's not a big deal, a big measurement. I just need the curving, and I need to make it SS, assuming is a fitted slit. Assuming it's a fitted hand of cloth, I would have measured it, I would have used full measurements. But this one is going to be free because the round slit is going to have an elastic, and the top will have a little plating. So that is why I don't really want to use measurement for it. You can just draw it. If you like, you can still measure. explanation I'll be making at the top is that at that top now, here I'm pointing at, I'm supposed to use 2 inches, 2 inches, but I extended it to 4 inches because of the pleating at the top. Then for the down here is supposed to, from there to this place is supposed to be 4 inches, but I made it 6 inches because of the pleating I'll be doing. So that's the little explanation I wanted to have. And then I increased the length of the slit so that it won't be too hanging. I increased it. Instead of 16, I made it 19. Instead of 16, I made it 19 so that it will come down a bit, so that it won't just hang. So this fabric is what I'll be using for the pleating at the down. So I have 12 inches by I have 12 inches by length, 12 inches, and I have two pieces of it, and the wideness is 2 yards. I use the whole 2 yards into 2 yards I'm talking about, but I cut two of these, so I'm going to be joining the two together to make it longer. If I should join it, it's going to be 4 yards. All the length is going to be 4 yards once I've joined it. So that is it. I've just joined it and I have 4 yards now, not 2 yards. I have 4 yards because 2 yards I've joined it. So I'm just going to get my needle. I'm doing the gather. I'm doing the gather at the down, and I will be using needle for it. Please, you can still use your sewing machine, but I bet you needle is way simple. So I'm just going to do it the way I'm doing it, like this, all through. I'm going to sew it like that all through, then gather the way I'm sewing it. As I'm gathering it, as I'm sewing it, I am gathering it. This one is simple for me, as in I prefer to do this instead of using the sewing machine. So if you drag it, you will see that the thing that is coming out. So this is what you are going to do. So once you are done doing this, you get the length you want to use. I advise you use sewing machine. Take it to your sewing machine to stitch the top so that it will not lose, because if you leave it like this, it might be going out of shape. But once you are done doing it like this, if you get your desired measurement, you take it to your sewing machine and stitch the top so that it will not go out of shape. As you can see, I've gotten the desired measurement I wanted, and I took it to my sewing machine to sew it. You see, it's not leaving its shape. I've sewn it with my sewing machine, and it's strong now. It's not going to lose. So here I will get the front side of my gown, I'm taking the front side, and I will measure the turnout. I always like turnout because it makes your work very neat. It makes your work very neat. So this is the turnout. I'm going to measure the turnout and then cut out. Is very important, especially when you want to make an outfit that you want it to look like an already made. Turnout is very important. If you use bias to turn, it's still very fine. You can use your bias, but me, I like cutting a turnout, a lining to it. So I'll be doing that for the back and the front. Okay, what I did here was to sew the neck lining of the front of the fabric to the main fabric, and after sewing that, I dodged the neck. Remember that when you are sewing in a circular form, you have to dodge the neck to make it relax. So after that, I took it to my iron and iron it, press it to make it look quite okay. If you are using an hemi stay or hemi gum, I advise you put it there and iron it so that it will relax. I have just done the ironing, so whenever I turn it, it will look relaxed. So this is it. So it looked relaxed because I just ironed the neck. So the next thing I'll be doing is to match the main fabric to the lining. The way I'm doing, just to match the main fabric to the lining to make it look relaxed. And after that, I am going to repeat the same process to the back side of the clothes. The same process, whatever I did to the front, I am going to repeat it to the back. It's very simple if only you understand what you are saying. using a neck turnout for my clothes, especially when I'm not using a full lining for that cloth, is because the neck turnout, which I cut up to the shoulder, will help me turn out the shoulder of the clothes to make it look like an already made. I don't know how else to explain this, but I'm going to make a video on it, on how to use your neck lining to turn the shoulder of your clothes. So I've just done that. You are going to see how the shoulder will be looking all neat. Look at the shoulder is already looking all neat because I use the lining. I use the lining to turn the shoulders, but I'll make a video on that so that you will understand what I'm saying better. So my cloth is already coming out. The cloth is coming out very well. So what I'm going to do next is that I am going to work on the hand of the clothes. I am going to dodge the middle of it so that I will know where my pleating will start from and end. This is the middle, the center part of it. I'm going to be doing a dodge for it so that I will know where to pleat. I will know where the middle is. This middle now, this place I just dodged is supposed to be in the same line with the shoulder line, so that everything will look all good. So I'm going to fix it to the clothes. Please remember, I don't know if I made a video on it, but remember that after joining the shoulder of your clothes, you are advised to do trimming. Okay, that is what I'm doing here. You are advised to do trimming because after sewing and all that, the shape, the size must have adjust. So the only way you would arrange it is to do a trimming for it. Then after doing the trimming, you can now go ahead and then join the hand of the clothes. Please do a little trimming always before joining the hand of your clothes to your main clothes. Please, the reason why I use my pin for the two sides of the cloth and not the middle is because I want the two ending parts to be equal. Then the allowance at the middle, the allowance is what I'm using to pleat the middle. So I know why I did it like that. I wanted the two sides to be equal, then the excess at the center will be pleated. So that was why I used my pin to pin the edges to make them equal, and then the allowance at the middle I'm going to use it for pleating. So what I did was to, after plaiting the shoulder, I had to join the hand of the cloth to the main cloth. So this is it. I am going to take it to my machine and do the closing. I'm going to close it and then just leave some space where I'm going to fit my elastic for the slit of the round slit of the gown, the round slit of the hand. So I'm just going to give a small space for that. Just going to do the joining. So I've done the joining, and now the gather which I have done, I'm going to measure the round of the down part of this clothes and then make sure that it corresponds with the gather. So I'm going to match the gather at the top, not under. I'm going to match it at the top, just the way I'm demonstrating. Match it round like that and make sure that the whole sides are equal. That is what I'll be doing. Please don't forget that when you are doing the gather, you left a lot of space at the top because we are going to weave the rough edges. So I've just joined the main cloth, the bodies, and I left some space for the bias. I'm going to use the bias and turn the hand the round slit. If you want, you can turn it inside. If you want, you can turn it outside. Then after turning it, I'm going to fix elastic inside. I'm going to fix elastic. So once I was done doing the turning, I'm going to fix elastic, and that is what I'll be doing for the two sides of the two hands. So once I'm done with that, so once I was done fixing the elastic to the hand, I am going to close it, and once I was done closing it, this is how the clothes looks. So this place I just touched, we are going to take it to our weaving machine to weave, and once we are done with that, we are done.